I believe there's a new form of status that we can all lean into, and it's this status around connection. You just need 1,000 true fans to build an incredible business. Dunbar's number, you only need 127 connections to have a very fulfilled life. You don't need to have 1 million social media followers. You just need a few people in your life that know you in a deep way that you can deeply connect with.
The largest wealth transfer in the history of the world is already happening, and it will continue to happen for the next 5 to 15 years, where baby boomers are passing their wealth to millennials. I mean, depending on the reports, 80 trillion to 105, 106 trillion is what I've seen. That's more than you know, the GDP of China.
Only 20% of leaders are at a stage of development in terms of our ability to make sense of the world. They're at a stage that allows them to thrive in complexity. 80% of us can barely survive.
We're looking at companies that might be doing a revenue, they might even be pre-revenue, but they might be doing a revenue of $5, 10, 15, $20,000 a month. And these companies believe that they need help raising money, but they don't. They need help raising customers.
We have to be aware that AI makes humans more human. That's all it does. It won't get you the answers, but it will get you the better answer in 1,000 times the time, the speed.
A lot of entrepreneurs get it the wrong way.
That's right.
They start the business without ever having identified what they want the business to do for them. And we just say profit. What's the point of a business? Oh, to make profit. But the point of being an entrepreneur isn't profit. It's a fulfilled life.
So there's a lot of failed AI integrations because the planning is all around the tech tool. And here's the shift. I would like to propose that 95% of your AI time is spent planning around the people side and the prep and the readiness. The tool's only 5%, and actually it's the easiest part of the equation.
In my world, there's two things. There's expenses and there's investments. If you're an expense, you're always on the chopping block. And if you're an investment, I have almost an unlimited appetite for investment, as long as I can get at least a 4 or 5 to 1 return on my money.
If you're not actually bringing something to the table, you are vulnerable. If you're a nice to have, then you're vulnerable. If you're a must have, you are not vulnerable. So it's crucial to say, what can I do that my value is not reliant on something that can be done in 30 seconds by a piece of software?
I actually made 3 degrees of relationships, and I looked at my inner circle, sort of my outer circle, and then my outer circle. 3 people in the inner, 12 in the outer, 72 in the outer. Okay. Wow. And I'm looking at the 3 and I'm going, okay, how do I spend more time, more energy, more effort? How do I go deeper with fewer?
What I'm seeing some of the best leaders during this time are doing is they're taking a beat and they're going back inside and they're saying what is actually true, right? What's happening out there? I see AI agents are going to have a compounded annual growth rate of 45% until 2030 and be a $50 billion market. Okay. How do I want to react to that noise?
Either a healthy and optimal lifestyle or the wrong lifestyle is helping your cells age at a slower rate, or they're making them age at an accelerated rate. And that's a serious problem because this accelerates the timeline towards chronic disease that lead to heart attacks, strokes, premature dementia, and even premature death. And Amber, up to 90% of this is totally preventable.
So you have an overload of information, an overload of everything. And unfortunately, that fries the brain because you're trying to multitask different things. The brain wasn't meant to be exposed to that much of information. I mean, this is information we should gain over the years. And now you can gain it over 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And that does something to the brain.
Something that Dell had put out a few years ago, and they still have it on their website last I checked, which is that they were saying that by 2030, 85% of the jobs we will be doing haven't been invented yet.
Ultimately, what we really want to do is create the greatest amount of value in the world. It's the person who creates the greatest value that has the biggest impact, that leaves the biggest legacy. And whatever constraint previously existed before AI to your ability to really go deep on a customer experience, to think about new ways to create and add value is gone.
Less than 0.20% of businesses and people in the world will change without massive pressure. They need massive pressure to change, and then they'll change. Now, even with massive pressure, you're still in single-digit percentages of businesses and people that will actually invoke change. People will talk about change, but they won't actually do it.
Own who you are. And this is exactly what you're speaking about. The parts of ourselves that we often want to hide the most are the ones that connect us with others the most. And when we realize this and we lean into those vulnerabilities, what we do is we let others know 4 of the most powerful words the human spirit can hear and understand. You are not alone.
You must learn how to feed the global knowledge panel. My prediction is that by the end of 2025, ChatGPT will surpass Google as the -- search source in the world.
Human right now more than ever is your competitive advantage. Because if everybody's standing out through all these other means, then think about what makes us more human and stands out in that way, because it's going to be few and far between.
AI is not going to replace me. I am irreplaceable, which honestly feels like contrarian to some of the data points that we've heard, right? And what our brains will tell us. But they're saying AI cannot replace me. That's where we need to have the conversation. What makes me uniquely me?